The account is locked. Maybe it wants a code. Maybe it wants a document. Maybe it just says something looks unusual and refuses to let you in. And here is the part nobody tells you. The lock is not the dangerous part. The recovery is. Because getting back in is the one moment you are tempted to break every wall you spent weeks building, to log in from your own phone just this once, to hand over your real number, to reply from the clean inbox that already sits under a dozen other accounts. The recovery flow is a linking event, and the platform runs it on purpose. Today is that trap, getting a locked identity back without dragging the rest of your fleet into the same review. Why the recovery is where fleets die. I run proxy and cloud phone farms and manage large fleets of separate identities, and the accounts I lose to a lock are almost never lost to the lock itself. They are lost to me, to the version of me that panics through the recovery and grabs whatever is nearest to get back in. A calm operator with a plan recovers an account clean and leaves no new thread behind. A scared one recovers by handing the platform the exact link it was fishing for when it raised the challenge. The lock is the question. How you answer it decides whether one account or the whole row ends up under review. A recovery flow is an interrogation, not a door. See the flow for what it really is. A recovery challenge is not a neutral door you walk back through. It is a question the platform raises when it is already suspicious, and every field you fill, every device you use, every number you confirm is read as fresh evidence about who you really are. The account sits under a spotlight now, watched harder than ever. Treat the recovery as an interrogation, not a formality, because that is exactly how the other side is treating it. Read the lock before you touch it. Different locks mean different things, so read yours before you reach for anything. A plain password reset is one animal. A suspicious sign-in challenge that wants a code is another. A phone or SMS check, an ID or selfie request, a full suspension you can only appeal to a human. Each one asks for a different thing and links you in a different way. Diagnose the lock first. Know what it demands and what answering will attach to the account permanently before you start typing. Because the wrong reflex on the wrong lock is what does the real damage. Kill the reflex to use your real device. The first reflex you have to kill is the fastest one. When an account locks, the quickest way back in is your own everyday phone or laptop, and that is precisely the trap. Recover the account from the same environment it has always lived in, the same proxy, the same profile, the same cloud phone it was built on. And never open a locked account on your main browser just to peek at the challenge, because that one look is enough to stamp your real device onto an account the platform is already staring at, and that stamp does not wash off. Recover from the account's own home. Consistency matters more during a recovery than at any calm moment before it. The account already has a home, an address it signs in from, a fingerprint, a time zone, a rhythm. A locked account that suddenly reappears from a new place, a new IP, a new device, at a new hour, confirms every suspicion the platform had. So appear from home. Same address, same profile, same clock. The recovery is the worst possible time to look like a different person than the one who owned the account yesterday. The phone number is a permanent link. Then comes the number. The challenge wants a phone to text the code to, and the tempting moves are both poison. Your real number links this account to you and to anything else that number ever touched. A number you already burned across 3 other accounts links this one straight to those 3. And it gets worse, because the number you attach during a recovery usually becomes a standing recovery field on the account. A permanent road back in that quietly ties together every identity that shares it. Use the number that already belonged to this identity, never a shared one and never your own. Plan the numbers before the lock forces one. This is why numbers get planned at setup, not improvised at the lock. If you never gave an account its own number, a recovery can force you to add one under pressure, and that new number becomes a linking field from then on. The worst numbers in any fleet are the ones added in a panic, one line shared across whatever accounts happen to lock the same week. Decide each identity's number when you build it, so the recovery draws from a plan instead of grabbing whatever SIM is in reach. The recovery email is a backdoor the platform can see. The recovery email works the same way and hides even better. A reset is sent to whatever address the account named as its way back in, and if a dozen identities all point at one inbox as that backdoor, the recovery quietly routes every one of them through a single address the platform can watch, reaching all of them. The login history can look spotless, while the recovery inbox ties the whole fleet together underneath. Each identity needs its own recovery email, set the day you build it, so a reset never collapses 10 accounts into one mailbox. The ID wall is where I tell you to stop. Some logs ask for a document or a selfie, and here I am going to be playing with you. Instead of clever, I am not going to tell you how to fake an identity, because forging documents is fraud. It is a crime, and it is where accounts and the people behind them both get destroyed. If a log demands an identity you cannot honestly provide for that account, the account has reached the end of its road. The clean move, the operator move, is to let it go, not to lie your way through a wall that was built specifically to stop what lying would do. Do not recover in a burst. Watch the pace, because panic has a shape, and detection knows it. The frantic operator sits down and resets 5 locked accounts in 1 hour, from one place, in one rhythm, one after another. That burst is its own pattern, a row of separate strangers, all coming back to life in the same afternoon from the same seat. Recover one account, let it settle, come back later for the next. Spread the recoveries across days the way ordinary life spreads them, because real people do not revive 5 unrelated accounts before lunch. The support thread is a written record. When a recovery turns into a conversation with a human, remember that every word you send is logged and read. Do not paste the same appeal across 10 tickets. Do not let slip that you run many of these, and never write in a way that reads as a template stamped across a fleet. Write like the one person this single account has always claimed to be, with this account's own story and nothing else. A support thread that reads copy-pasted across a dozen identities links those identities by your own words, in a record that outlives the recovery. Wherever you attach for good. Hold on to one idea through the whole process. Whatever you hand over to get back in, a number, an email, a device you approved during the challenge, is not a temporary detour. The platform keeps it. It becomes a standing field on the account and a link that lasts as long as the account does. So choose every answer as something you can live with, sitting on that account forever, because that is exactly where it is going to sit. Decide what is even worth recovering. Before any of this, ask the coldest question: is this account worth the risk of recovering at all? A young, low-value identity that got challenged early is often cheaper to abandon than to run through a recovery that might expose the account standing next to it. The flow you use to save one can spotlight the 10 around it, and not every account earns that exposure. Weigh the value of the single locked identity against the risk to the whole fleet before you type a single character, and be willing to walk away from it. Build the recovery kit at setup. The real reason panic links you is that you arrived at the lock with no plan. So build the plan at setup, not at the emergency. When you create an identity, write down its own number, its own recovery email, its home address and profile, the clock it keeps. Then when the lock comes, you recover from a written record instead of improvising with whatever is nearest, and the whole trap loses its teeth because there is nothing left to grab in a panic. The recovery kit you fill in on a calm day is the thing that saves you on the bad one. Quarantine the account after it comes back, and when an account does come back, do not throw it straight into the deep end. An identity fresh out of a lock is under a spotlight for a while, watched more closely than one that never tripped. So let it behave quietly for a stretch from its own clean home, doing ordinary and unremarkable things before you trust it with anything that matters or wire it back into your busiest work. A recovered account is a probationary account. Treat the first days back as the fragile time they really are. What a clean recovery looks like. Put it together and the shape is calm rather than clever. The account comes back from the same environment it always lived in, using its own number and its own email, with no shared field added under pressure, no burst of parallel resets in one sitting, no support thread that reads stamped across a fleet, and an honest willingness to abandon the account rather than fake a document when the wall is real. It is a plan written on a calm day and a steady hand on a bad one, Not a product you buy in one click. The honest limit, and keep it in proportion, because a clean recovery does exactly one thing. It stops you from adding new links while you get an account back. It does not undo whatever got the account locked in the first place. It does not make a flagged identity innocent again, and it cannot promise the account comes back at all. Some locks are simply final, and no careful process on earth talks a platform out of a decision it has already made. Anyone selling you a guaranteed way back into any locked account is selling you a story, because the door is theirs to open, not yours. I recover my own locked identities exactly this way, from the account's own home, with its own number and its own inbox, one at a time and never in a panic, and I let the ones with an honest wall go, rather than drag a whole fleet into the same review to save one. I run Singapore mobile proxy and cloud phone farms myself, so the environment I recover an account from is the real stack I already keep clean, not a guess. The full written guides and tested pics are at multiaccountops.com, including the recovery kit I fill in the day I build an identity, how I read a lock before I touch it, and honest write-ups of the tools I pair with this, no affiliate guesswork. If you have ever gotten a locked account back by grabbing whatever was nearest, this is the habit to fix before the next lock finds you. Subscribe for more honest, tested multi-account ops. Next time, buying an aged account and the hidden history you inherit the second you log into an identity someone else built.